Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa, and I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we'll take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform this Saturday evening. We, we at the Center for Transformational Leadership are always excited to join you on the Leadership Platform because our objective is to bring to you lessons on leadership to help to expand your understanding of leadership, to help you improve your leadership and your personal growth. So this evening, join us as we study. Please share the link to your friends, your colleagues, because we are going to discuss an important subject this evening. Those of you who are connected, please join us, introduce yourself, and let's know where you are connecting from. For now, I'm not seeing anybody, but I know that many of you connect, and we don't necessarily see, you don't necessarily introduce yourself, but it is our joy to introduce you to the whole wide world. So please connect with us and let us know where you are joining from as we get ready to discuss the subject we are discussing. In the meantime, let me invite you to our programs that we do at the Center for Transformational Leadership. At the Center for Transformational Leadership, we provide leadership training for individuals, organizations, schools, and many other institutions. We speak at your events. We help with your team building and your strategy facilitation. And so we encourage you to share with your heads of HR, your managers, when you need training on how to improve your leadership and your personal growth, your personal development. We are here to assist you. We also help in facilitating your strategy sessions, team building exercises, and so on. We also do individual one-on-one coaching. Your potential for growth is very important to us, and we help you to break the obstacles that are hindering your growth. Sometimes you want to move forward, you have visions, you have ideas, but you need somebody to be on your side to encourage you, to help you, to check through your questions that you are grappling with, the issues that are hindering you, and we are here to help you. There are two of our programs that are currently running. The growth journey, we have a cohort running because we have so many other people, we limit it to 15. There's another cohort. We have just a few places to fill up. So if you're interested, just reach out to us and we will register you. We are starting that cohort on the first Thursday of June. So get in before it is too late for you. The other program that we encourage you to participate in is the laws of leadership, understanding the laws of leadership. That program is to help you change your mindset, is to help you install a new understanding of what leadership is all about. So please share the link with your colleagues, with your bosses, because this evening we are going to discuss a subject that is relevant to everybody in your organization, in your church, in your family. And as we say on this platform, leadership is not about a position, it's about your ability to impact, to influence. And that is why we are here. All right. So we are discussing an important subject of the psychology of leadership. How can psychology, your understanding of basic principles of psychology, affect your leadership? How can you lead as if you're a psychologist. And this is so important because the people you are leading are humans. They are social beings. They are thinking beings. They are reflecting beings. They have issues. They have challenges. They have anxieties. They have fears. They have aspirations. They have happiness. How do you tap into the energies of your team members to influence? How do you lead as a psychologist? And we have this evening to do justice to this subject, somebody who is not new on this platform. He's come onto this platform. He's spoken about, the how leaders maintain their mental strength and maintain their mental health. Our speaker is Eric Musukumi, who is a senior psychologist at a trust hospital. He's a stress management specialist. He's also an author of a book with the title Living Today Now, The Power in Positive Thinking. He's also a co-founder and editor-in-chief of Happiness Digest. This is a half-yearly magazine which shares ideas on life and so on. He's a graduate from the University of Ghana. He holds a BA in psychology and philosophy. He's also holds an MPhil in clinical psychology. Our speaker today is a professional teacher. He's taught for about 12 years from basic to the tertiary level. So he knows how to apply his knowledge and impact them. And that's why we have him here. And he's spoken, delivered speeches and presentation and training to churches, corporate organizations, and professional bodies on positive thinking, stress management, retirement planning, and various mental health topics across the country. So this is somebody who is very well qualified to speak to us as leaders from a psychology point of view. How do you lead? If you recall, we have a topic, we discuss about leading as an architect. We discuss about leading as an accountant. So today we are talking about leading as a psychologist. How does that work? It is my pleasure and my honor to invite to the platform my own brother, Eric Musukumi. Eric, you are very welcome to the leadership platform. It is our honor to have you on the leadership platform to speak to us. Thank you so much, Eric. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great.
Thank you too very much. My name is Eric Osukumi, as Mr. Yim has just introduced me. I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Yim and his organization Leadership Platform for hosting me for this very important program. Yes, so today we are going to talk about leaders in the sense of the psychologist. I've been following some of the leaders who are spoken from their professional point of view, and today I'll also talk about mine. So we shall look at the psychologist's view when it comes to leadership. The psychologist is a person who studies human behavior, and behavior here means behavior means things that people do. So it starts from our thinking, our minds, through our emotions, and then to our behavior, the things we do for others to see. So even though we talk about study of behavior, behavior is more than just what you see. It includes things nobody also sees. That is thinking. When you are thinking, nobody will know you are thinking unless the person sees some action. So that one is the behavior part of the thinking. So that's what psychologists do. And if you are looking at my slides, I have put two things. So there's leadership.
Just a second. We don't seem to have your slides. Have you shared them? If you can share your slides, that would be very good. so that people can follow.
Sharing it too.
Just a second, so we enable him to share his slides.
Okay, let me cancel
Okay.
Share slide. Okay. All right. So I think I am good to go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh,
So
no.
good.
This is not my slide.
This is not this one.
It's not the slide I want to share.
Okay. All right.
Go. Okay. So, okay. So this is what I'm going to share. I'm sure it's loading. All right.
So
So
stop sharing the other one.
yes.
You're
So,
sharing a new one.
yes, I'm sharing a new one. I should come.
Um,
Do I need to remove this first? Okay.
not this one. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, this one.
All right. Good. Okay. So sorry for yes. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you. So we are looking at how the psychologist sees managing people, basically. And since leadership is all about our ability to influence people, okay, so that they get to do the things we want them to do, we are looking at how the principles of psychology or how a psychologist will do the same thing differently from how an architect or a medical doctor or an engineer will do the same thing. Okay, so once upon a time, there used to be a situation where leaders use the power they have to instruct others, to command people to do things without asking any question. But we have all observed that of late, modern establishments have come to understand, or they now see the need to deal with the people they work with in a better way, because they are valuable resources. Without them, work would not go on the way they want them to go. If they manhandle these people, they are likely to fail in getting their goals met. So recently, people are trying to, or institutions are trying to engage and get people committed, find ways to encourage them, to motivate them, to reward them, so that they will stay longer and get the goals of the institutions achieved. And so the psychologist comes in here as a leader. Remember that every leader needs to interact with their followers, with their colleagues, and then even sometimes people who are higher than them in terms of leadership, so that they will get work done. Now, the question is, who supports? You will need the support of the people who are under you, the people who are following you, to get these goals accomplished. Now, to be able to do that, you need to understand human behavior. You need to know what motivates people. You need to understand how people can be motivated, what makes them follow other people so that they get the work done. That's very important. So basically, psychologists are human behavior scientists. And so if you are able to act as a psychologist in this form and understand human behavior, that will help you to go a long way to do your job well. Successful leaders don't just understand the process of change, but also the people. So they don't just understand how light is needed in production, how raw materials are needed in production. They also understand the people who need to pay the light bill, who need to collect money from customers, who need to buy raw materials, who need to put the raw materials into use to get the product that the organization needs. So successful leaders do three things to cause change. One, to communicate. So successful leaders need to communicate very well. What are you talking about? Why are you saying about what you are talking about? It's very, very important. And so the understanding of the human psychology or the human mind, how it works, what motivates people, what make people happy, sad, are very important to communicate these things to the subordinates or the followers. Then two, successful leaders will also need to collaborate work across boundaries. So you work with people who can't understand English very well. You work with people who are maybe between the ages of 20 to 30, those who are between the ages of 40 to 45 or 50, different category of people. You need to work with people who have low educational background, people who are married, people who are single, people who don't even have their parents alive. You need to bring all of them together. And to be able to do that, you need to understand these human beings, to be able to manage them, to get to your desired goal. Then three, successful leaders also are able to commit to whatever they want to get done. So they make sure that their beliefs and behaviors support the change that they want to bring. It's important for us to know that the whole idea of leadership is to cause a change. So if we enter, if I'm the managing director of a bank, for instance, I have some rules that I need to put in place. And to get these rules or goals achieved, there should be changes. So from no goal to a year's goal, or from zero goal to maybe 10 goals achieved. And these things need commitment. And so before you can do this thing or let this happen, you need to understand the people you are dealing with so that you can get this thing to them. Again, for you to become a wonderful leader, you need to understand how people relate with other people. So it's important for us to know that the behaviors and the tactics a person uses to interact with others effectively is so important by every leader. So, for instance, somebody didn't come to work, and then you can just go ahead and then give it to the person for the person to be stable and then come to work early or come to work next time. But for you to succeed, that wouldn't work. You will need good interpersonal skills. You will need you should be able to have a skill that you can use to express appreciation. Because this same person who came to work late or didn't come to work yesterday might have done something well yesterday or a week ago. You need to appreciate that through a good communication skill. You need to also identify or empathize with some of these people. You also need to be able to manage conflict. So when two people are disagreeing on matters of work related functions, and you understand how human beings relate to each other, then you'll be able to help them resolve the issue better. And so you can move on with achieving your goals than if you don't have good interpersonal skills. Again, you also need to have the capacity to actively listen to people. So listening is different from active listening. When you are actively listening, you need to respond to what the person is saying. So you can ask questions like, do you mean you can't come to work, or you can't work with us anymore, so that you can intervene with what the person is communicating. So active listening is key interpersonal skill that we all need to develop as managers or as leaders to be able to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves. Of course, a good psychologist, a good leader should understand the kinds of leadership styles available. And then a good leader, by now, or if he gets the understanding very well, will be able to tell the style that best works to the achievement of the shared goals of the company. And so it has been studied and proven that the leadership style of democracy is the best tool to use in modern time establishments. And so if you are democratic, whereby you allow the employers or your subordinates or your followers to also get actively involved in the things that you do in the decision making process, okay, so that you make them aware that this is what you want to do. Let them put in their input, let them criticize, let them fine tune these things for you. Then you are more likely to succeed than if you just come and hit them with whatever decision that you have made at the highest level. Okay, you also allow them to also exchange their ideas freely anytime, because if they know you are a democratic leader, they can come to you anytime, not only when there are times for meeting, but they know they can walk into your office, they can meet you on the corridors and then discuss anything that bothers them, that can help you to understand them better and make changes that will support the growth or the success of your goals. It's very, very important. At this point too, because these people understand the kind of leadership style you are putting across, and you also understand them because you have made them aware that this is what you are through your behavior, through the actions, through the way you think and you feel, you can easily help them to also express their emotions. You should remember that any emotion that is not expressed eats the person up, and then it is brought out at the wrong time through anger, through aggression, and other bad ways or inappropriate ways of communicating. So it's very important that as a psychologist or as a leader who understands the way people think and act and feel, you'll be able to handle such issues quite easily. So this is a diagram to help us to understand how the democracy works for them when you are practicing it. It leads to active engagement. And then on the immediate right side, it makes people to admire you, okay, and then support you in everything that you do. Okay, very, very important to know that. Then, as a psychologist, leading the people as a psychologist, it's important for us to also create a team that works. So you understand group dynamics. That's one thing that psychologists study, how people work. So there's terms like social loafing, there's group conformity. So what will make the group, the people you are leading, conform to the laws or the laws and the principles that you want them to work with. You need to understand them so that you can have this team to work. So beware that employees who have unspoken feelings will not form a good team. But if the team is based on belongingness, if the team is based on care, love, support, respect for each other, then you encourage them to trust and then to cooperate with one another, including yourself, to achieve the goals of the institution. Then when you also have a team that you understand, that also understands you, you help them to share their ideas easily because they belong to a team. If one of them happens to get a solution to a problem they've all been trying to crack, then the person can easily share because it is not only you who can bring solutions on board. They can also do that because you've been empowered by your leadership style to create this kind of team. Then also, it helps you to delegate problem-solving tasks to the team. Because you don't see yourself as the only person who is knowledgeable, who is skillful, and who has the repertoire of wisdom, you allow them to also solve problems. So the problem can be divided into several units and given to team members. So anybody who gets the solution brings on board, and that encourages people to contribute their might, the little that they have inside them. Then when the team is also created, it encourages listening and brainstorming at all times. So I know that this person is good as much as I'm good. So I listen to the person when he's saying something. I also have the opportunity to contribute my part anytime that I'm needed to contribute. So it makes the work of the leader quite easy because everybody is willing to contribute their quota to the success of the institution. Then also, again, once you are creating this team, it's important that the leader knows each member of the team. So it's important because when people feel that you know them, they feel belonged, and then they are more likely to trust you and tell you anything that you need to know. When they hear anything about you, okay, because in the Akan, we say that the one who is preparing the path wouldn't know that there's some kind of crookedness behind him. And so a leader may be faulty or may have challenges that will require the followers to be able to identify that. So if the team is strong based on the knowledge of group dynamism and then how to promote the group to grow and become coherent, then of course you're going to get people to be able to come to you and then discuss certain things with you. It helps you to first establish your leadership with each of them. Then also remember that to build the relationship on trust and loyalty, you need to have a good and a strong team working all the time. A good leader also will need to be emotionally intelligent. In fact, countless studies have proved that normal intelligence, the one we call intelligent quotient, is not a predictor of success of any leadership, because I have seen in several cases, and I'm going to use the classroom as a typical example. The teacher is the leader of the classroom. Now, if the teacher is highly intelligent, that is IQ, and doesn't have emotional intelligence, which is EI, he is likely to fail because he's going to bash out and then insult and tell some of the students that they are blockheaded, they don't know anything, and that will kill their spirit of initiativeness, contribution, and even asking questions to further understand the lecture or the activity that the teacher is giving out. And so when we bring this concept or this analogy to the workplace, if you are the leader and you're not intelligent emotionally, you're not able to become aware of your own capacity and to be able to control your emotions and express them in an appropriate way, then you are going to have challenges in having the group or your followers to understand you. And we should be mindful that when emotional intelligence is mentioned, change and uncertainty comes to play. Interaction with colleagues come to play. Conflict and relationship come to play. Effort and burnout, achievement and failure, all of these come to play. But when you are emotionally intelligent, you can manage these things quite easily without creating problems for yourself or for the people you are dealing with. So emotional intelligence have key areas, and it includes self-awareness. So if a leader is aware of himself or herself, he understands his own emotions. He knows when he can get emotionally overwhelmed. He knows when he is going to get stressed up. He knows what makes him depressed or sad or frustrated. Then he's aware of himself. So he knows his limits, so that when he's dealing with any member of the group or his followers, he's able to deal with them because he knows where he's coming from. Then again, self-management. So one is what he knows and one is what you can do. In emotional intelligence, you must know something and also be able to do something. So when you know who you are, then you know what exactly to do. So emotional intelligence, the self aspect, requires you to be able to control your emotion. Then there's also the social awareness component of the emotional intelligence. Here is your ability to have empathy, the ability to share in people's difficulty, your ability to be in the shoes of other people, your followers, so that when someone tells you my child is at the hospital, you understand this and you'll be able to feel for them and so have a better way to treat them. Not only think about the money that you're going to lose because the person's child is in the hospital. Remember, if that person decides to come to the office, he's going to be emotionally so down that he may make mistakes and you lose money. So let's be mindful of emotional intelligence. You can be very intelligent academically or intellectually, but you can be down on emotional intelligence, which means that you cannot control your emotions and then you give to people anytime, anywhere. Then also, emotional intelligence has a component we call the relationship management. This is where you as a leader should be mindful of the fact that you should be able to relate with the people you deal with. You should be able to relate with them. Okay, so here you have social competence. You have the competence, the capacity to deal with people, to inspire people through persuasive communication. You inspire people who are in conflict. I've remembered recently, I have to come in to speak to or to have a program, a workshop for a group of people in a particular, let me say the whole department, because they were having conflicts, they were having issues with each other, and this was affecting their productivity. Some of them will not come to work because this person is around, this person want to close early because this person is around, and this was affecting the turnover, the customer participation in our services. So we have to meet them and help them to manage this conflict. I get it. So a leader should be able to see conflict as early as possible and communicate it and help to manage this conflict as early as possible. And so in all of this, mindfulness plays a large role in self-awareness, because you need to be mindful, then to be socially aware, you need to be mindful of your own state and then your environment, and then be able to manage the social difficulties of people, you again need to be mindful of yourself. So it's important that we go through this system. And so, like I said, again here, you see that there is self-awareness and then self-management. They are all personal competence components of the emotional intelligence that we need to grasp. Then there's also the social competence, which is the social awareness and relationship management. So these four components, if a leader has this and understands how it works, he will be able to manage his followers to a successful attainment of their goals. So here, IQ plus EQ is equal to success. So you are intelligent, but you need to be emotionally intelligent as well to be able to become successful at dealing with your people. Again, being successful as a manager, if you're able to lead as a psychologist, then you will have the capacity to, one, understand your mental health, to be able to understand your stress level, so that you set good example for your followers. And so I have met a lot of people who complain that their bosses or their leaders don't care about their mental health. They don't care about the stress they go through. And they think that when they come to work, their subordinate must also come to work automatically. No, it doesn't happen that way. If you understand the way mental health operates, remember that the mind is at the top of the human being. And so if it is disturbed, if it's challenged, then every aspect of the human being is challenged. So a good leader needs to understand mental health and how it affects people, how mental sickness or illness can influence or destroy people's morale, destroy their even intellectual capacity, make them incapable of remembering things, focusing or paying attention to the details of what they're supposed to do. So it's important that we pay attention to mental health as leaders of an institution. Whilst we are doing this, we should remember that in times of difficulty or uncertainty, leaders can be the greatest ally to the team's mental health. Otherwise, they will be the greatest stresses. Because if you have a leader who doesn't understand how mental health can impact the performance of their followers, then when things are very difficult, for instance, some people lose their colleagues, some people their own parents, or some people get trapped in disasters like the cycle, fire, and flood disaster, and that is going to affect their mental health for a very long time. I'm so happy that a lot of banks and some institutions are taking mental health so seriously. Just yesterday, I have to make a presentation at one important institution that I can't mention the name for security reasons. And they came, you could see that from the top of management or leadership, they were involved in educating, and even they are creating a whole 1 week period for me to have a consultation right on the premises of the institution, just to take care of their mental health. And that is wonderful for every leader to have, and then to use that to support the followers. A leader must also pay attention to the signs of stress. Okay, the warning signs of stress. The moment they start coming up, you should know it and tell your followers that, look, my brother, my sister, you need to rest, you need to slow down, you need to calm down, so that you don't break down. Because if you break down, that will be more severe. Okay, so little is better little caution than great disaster. If the thing starts and you're able to work on it and keep it, it will be better that way, because you will save more money, you will save life, than to let it go bad for you to lose a staff or a subordinate. Then, if you as a leader, you're able to understand mental health and stress, it helps you to strengthen the social support system that you have, the support system that you have. So for some people, they have psychologists or counselors on standby that the staff are aware that they need to consult them anytime they feel that they are getting down mentally. So if the leader doesn't understand this, there will be no need for him or her to get this as a component of their health situation. And again, I'm privileged to say that I am working with a number of institutions where I am on standby for the institution for any staff member who is mentally down, to consult me without passing through any system, so that I send them the bill after I've seen them for them to pay. And it's encouraged these people, the followers, to feel that you care about them, you are there for them, and they also do everything to make sure you succeed in the goal that has been set for you. Again, when you are a leader and you act as a psychologist, it helps you to also advocate for good mental health situations. So, for instance, you help them to combat stigma, because a lot of the times when people are referred to see the psychologist, they say they are not mad. But the truth is that you don't have to get mad before you see the psychologist. You need to be healthy and walk into the offices of the psychologist. That's the only way you can always walk healthily. But if you wait until you are mad, in quotes, then the psychologist cannot help you. That is very, very important. So a good leader should set in place facilities or avenues for their followers to always work on their mental health. Again, a good leader needs to be sensitive with human motivation. The human being, the psychology of the human being works with motivation. In fact, nobody will go to the office if he goes there and he comes home empty-handed. It's very important that we identify motivation, what moves people towards achieving their goals. There are both intrinsic and extrinsic ones. So the one that is coming from leadership or the leader, and the one that is coming from within the person. And so what you, the leader, you are putting on board to drive them, maybe it could be salary, it could be bonuses, but have you find out by studying this human being that you are leading whether the money is what they need, or they would rather prefer a bigger health insurance than salary? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about they getting maybe more time to rest than getting a bigger salary? So let's find out as leaders what is motivating these people that we are leading to put off their best, instead of just giving it to them from the external, from outside of them, things that they cannot control. It's very important that we remember what the Almighty Maslow says about our basic needs. He puts our needs in levels and says that there are some needs that are so basic that every human being will get it. So, of course, when you are leading people, you have to be sure that their basic needs are met. There's no compromisation on their basic needs. So, if you are a psychologist as a leader, if you are leading as a psychologist, you will make sure that every subordinate, every follower's basic needs are met. What are basic needs? Air. So don't do anything to deprive people of air, water, food. A lot of institutions don't even have water in the premises for staff to use. It's basic need. Food, a lot of institutions don't provide food. Shelter, sleep, clothing. These are all basic for every human being. Of course, the salaries are supposed to use to pay this, but let's begin to look at them again as leading as psychologists. Begin to look at, can we bring these things to them at the workplace, or we'll put it in their salaries as we've been doing it currently? Let's find out from them. Then the second level of our need is safety. When a human being is done eating, is done taking water, is able to put his head, is able to find clothing, because when the weather is very cold, you need to clothe yourself. When a human being is able to do this, then the next thing he's thinking about is safety, where to put his head, what to do about his sleeping place, what to do to protect himself, security. The human being is so wonderfully designed that when things are not working the way they should work, then they begin to get worried. They want to get employment, they want to get good health, like health insurance, they need to get all of that, property, accommodation, and all of that. When they are done with that, they move on to love and belongingness. This is where we as leaders should also look at very well. We should show people love. The people who are following us, we should show them love. We should be caring. We should let them feel a friendship in the environment where they work. They should feel secure. They should feel like a family. They should feel like a sense of belongingness whenever they find themselves in the office. But anytime they come and they feel like they and us, we and them, then you are not creating an environment to feel belonged. They'll feel like they are outcasts, and that will not help them to win. When they get that, the rest will come by themselves. Let's remember that anytime that a human need is achieved, then the human being gravitate to the next level of needs. If you don't have food to eat, you don't think about what to wear. It's very important. If you don't have food to eat, you don't think about where to sleep. Let's just look at a practical example from those who sell in the traffic. They are there because they need food, so they are not interested in their safety at all. But when they get what to eat, most of them will relocate and get shops or get some small kiosks and begin to sell there. But as long as they don't have that, they won't think about their safety. As long as they don't have that, they won't even think about where to put their head. Some of them are sleeping on the street and then come back to the street to sell again. So from the self-esteem where you feel respected, where you feel like you belong to a social setting, where you feel recognized, where you feel so powerful, and then a sense of freedom. Then you move to the highest level of our human needs, that is the self-actualization. So at the self-actualization, the individual alone and only him alone feels it. He doesn't need anybody to give him that feeling. He feels that he has gotten to the highest level of his needs. Then also the human being. Okay, so the human being also needs to be helped as leaders to be motivated. Remember that when you are not motivated as a leader, then it becomes very difficult to motivate anybody. In fact, if you don't love yourself, you can't love any other person. If you don't love yourself, you can't get loved. It's very, very important. So let's take note of this and then motivate our own self from within. Motivated leaders define qualities that drive the way they lead. It's important that you as a leader, you help other people to follow you. You help other people to be inspired. You recognize the successes of people. It's a way of motivating them. You demonstrate integrity, make them fair. I remember a child in a school felt so disappointed because the leader of the school deceived him. And as we speak now, the child is not speaking, a condition we term selective mutism. He has stopped speaking for the past 2 months. Why did this happen? They were all getting rewards. So if you do well, you are rewarded. And this child never got it. So the head impressed upon him that, look, you have to work hard so that you also get a reward. And this boy decided to work very hard. And that term, he did very well. There was tremendous improvement. However, he never got the award. He was never rewarded for that effort that he put into this work. And so the child lost it and decided not to talk again. So we are working on him and he has started talking little by little, and we hope that he will talk. So don't create this problem for your subordinates or your followers and later spend money to treat them. Remember, a good leader should understand mental health so that he doesn't get to this level where this school got this student. A good leader who understands psychology will communicate decisively. He will share the visions of the institution with every member of staff so that everybody benefits equally with whatever they are supposed to get from. Then a good leader, a leader who understands psychology, who operates on the principles of psychology, which is the understanding of human behavior and applying them, will be able to understand and benefit from the strengths of people's personality. Let's remember that different personality types work and communicate in very different ways. So no two people who are differently personalized or who have different personality basically means the way a person thinks, feels, and acts in a unique way that cannot be changed overnight. Okay, it's quite consistent. So when you see him in the church and he's a talkative, he will talk. He will talk even when he's among his classmates. He will talk when he's among his in-laws. He will talk when he's in the office. He talks everywhere. So that talking ability or openly talking doesn't change because he has moved his situation. Then the same way, the one who is also very reserved, will be reserved everywhere he finds himself. Once a while, we see people changing, but that is not part of their personality. Because when the situation becomes quite tight, some people will change a little bit, okay? So let's be mindful of that. Let's also understand that learning how to identify these personality differences and types will help you to understand the common characteristics that these people have. And then we should remember, for instance, if you want someone to work in the PRO office, you don't go for someone who's an introvert or someone who is a melancholic. That will defeat your purpose. It won't make you achieve the goal of the institution. So it's very important that every leader understand personality attributes, traits, and components of human nature. Okay, a leader should know that we all have different temperaments. Knowing our own temperament, for instance, can help us improve our working with other people. So, for instance, I am a phlegmatic. Phlegmatic are very reliable people. They are quite passive, so they don't get themselves involved in activities. So in my institution, most of the time they don't find me in meetings. I operate with one people or two people better. So it makes it very easy for me to perform as a psychologist because the work requires only one person dealing with another one person. However, if I were to be in a situation where I have to be in meetings with hundreds of people all the time, then that may be difficult for me. I may be able to do it, but not as better as someone who's a sanguine. The sanguine is a human, is a person pleaser. They want to work with everyone. They want everybody to love them. They are very sociable. They are lively. They like laughing. They hate to be alone. So if you make a sanguine a psychologist, that is going to kill him because he's always going to be dealing with just one person. If you make a sanguine an accountant, I can assure you that his work will be difficult for him. The sanguine want to be among people, just like the choleric. So let's be mindful of the people we are dealing with, understand their personalities so we can put them in the right environment so they can put up their best. So working as a psychologist or leading as a psychologist will require you to understand this component of human development so that you can benefit more from it than losing out on it. Okay, so again, it's important for us to know that as we move on and continue to work as leaders, continue to function as leaders, it's important that one, as leaders, we lead with the mind of a practicing psychologist. We should first set out to understand human behavior, that is the way people think, the way people feel and act in different situations. It's very fundamental for us to deal with people. Then we should also be able to understand the relationship we have with them, how the human being, I'm not talking about every human, but the ones that you are dealing with, how do they get motivated? Are they motivated from within or they are motivated from outside? So if follower A wants external motivation, praise is always praising him, and he gets the work done, you do the praising for him. Another person doesn't want praises, he wants cash. So be able to identify them and then motivate them appropriately. Then look at your leadership style. Look at your team building capacity. If you don't have it, begin to learn how to build team and then keep them. Very important. Be emotionally intelligent as well so that you can deal with people at different emotional levels. It's also very important for us to know that if you are going to be leading as a psychologist, if you're going to be very successful as a leader, then again, you need to also go a long way to help your people to manage their stress, be able to identify stress from a far away distance place, and be able to manage their mental health at all time. By so doing, they can trust you, they can rely on you, and come to you for all their needs. And you also be available to provide them. By so doing, you'll be able to place yourself in the position to lead these people, and these people too will follow you the way you want to be followed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. And questions time.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Eric. That was detailed. That was good. So we're going to ask questions, but let me ask you, I've taken a lot of notes. It means that the leader, actually, every leader should go to a psychology school. Is that
Exactly, exactly,
is that it?
exactly. Because we are dealing with human beings. That's the basic point. And psychology is the study of human beings. So if you understand them, they will work for you. Even when they are tired, they will still work.
Yeah. Now, I mean, so you are leading in a group and people are different. So how do you at the same time lead the group to one direction and take care of their individual differences? Is this not asking too much of a leader?
But that's what a leader does. That's why you're a leader. You need to understand the different groups, the different people in that group. So you know, for instance, one person, if he's hungry, he screams. So that person never gets him angry. There's another person, when he's angry, he laughs. So that person, if he's angry and he's laughing, is good for the group. So for instance, if you have scarce resources, of course, there are some people who wouldn't mind that you don't get the allowances in 1st January. Others will care so much. So if you understand the people you are dealing with, then you distribute the resources that everybody gets theirs, and then the group stays intact to do the job they are assigned to do.
Wonderful. All right. There are so many people on the call. We'll give you a short break and we'll come back to check who is talking, who is asking questions. Please, there's more to learn from Eric. He's here. Ask all your questions, share your comments, share what you are learning, your takeaways, and we'll be back in a moment to answer all those questions. So, Richmond, let's take a short break. We want to encourage all of you to check our pages and to register for our courses that are running.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
All right. Thank you very much. Please join the growth journey. So many people are joining. Don't miss out. Also join the leadership mindset and HeartSet program, which is starting very, very soon. All right. So many people are learning here. I have Desmond Upon connecting from Sunyani, Fred Asare from Gomoafete, Ewuntoma, David from Savannah. We have people from all over the country. Prisla Chibu Menu is from Accra. Dennis Ahe Sakumono. Philip Ose, assuming watching from Mampong, Ashanti. So we have representation. I have Wavo Vignon from Togo. Conrad says it's a great topic, stands for bringing a clinical psychologist on the platform. Olivia Okain is joining from the central region.
I have Kofi Duga, who is also here with us. Vera is from Domi. Evans Odum says it's great to be here. And Ewuntoma David says this topic is impactful as well, Mr. Eric. The topic is hot and blowing hot. More grace to CTL. All right, thank you so much. Share what you are learning. Please share your takeaway, share your questions. I'm looking for questions for Eric. He's ready to answer all your questions. What's going on in your life, in your team, and what are the challenges you are having dealing with your people? And let's see how the psychologist will help you. Hajia Alima is here from Tamale. Geoffrey Yusuf from Medina. And Ewutoma says, I think emotional intelligence is my take home. Human life is paramount and needing intelligence to bring everyone on board. Great learning there. Kofi Duga says, thank you for such a wonderful presentation. And Olivia says, like seriously, climbing on his own self and everyone around him, a very sad reaction to being disappointed as a child. I'm not sure what Olivia is reacting to. Maybe Eric would understand that. All right. Charles from Takwa is here. Rose Odai, very insightful. Thank you. How do you manage a staff who always has a challenge when he or she has to account for one thing or the other? So Eric, that's your first question. You have this staff, when he has to answer to one thing or the other, every time he or she has a challenge. So how do you handle such a person? All right. And Olivia said, many thanks for your in-depth sharing of the needs and values of any and all leaders. Definitely every family leader surely needs to get this basic training and guidance for day-to-day lifestyle. Okay, so that's only one question from all that I can pick from there. And so I'll bring Eric and share that question with for his comment.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the name of the gentleman again.
Let me get the name again.
Okay, so Mr. Gentleman, I
Yes.
think that staff or follower needs attention. We've not given him attention yet. Like I said, imagine that he really has a problem. In fact, there are people with mental health issues that we can't tell. Most people with mental illness have not been diagnosed yet. We consider their mental health difficulty as being difficult. In fact, the moment you identify somebody as being difficult, the chance that he has a mental health issue is high. So pay attention to the person and support the person. See, the moment you give the person attention and then he's assessed, all angles covered, the person, you get to know the real cause of the problem. Let's remember that the human being is very intelligent, and then anything that he thinks that when he talks about it, people will stigmatize him, he won't mention it. And so he will use other reasons to cover up for the real thing. So let's assume that the truth is that he's impotent. Okay? And so he's not getting any benefit, and the wife is always insulting him. But he cannot come and tell you this in the office. So maybe every morning he has to go and cry at the beach before he comes to the office. And so he's always getting things done late, or he's not able to perform his role. And you don't know this. How can you help him? The best thing you can do is to keep insulting him, punishing him, writing query and query and query. The query will not stop it. Because when it comes to the man, a human being, especially men are likely to save their manhood than to save their hearts. You can ask the men on the platform. They would. And that is why a lot of men get stroke, because they won't take their medication because they've been told it will affect their manhood. But they've forgotten that the medicine is meant to save their hearts. And so I think the gentleman has a bigger problem than what we think, and then he should be given proper attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, if I get you, Eric, a leader who is leading as a psychologist should not just take the responses of his team members on face value.
Yes.
They should
Yes,
dig
exactly.
more.
It should
They
go
should
further.
be more sensitive to other factors that may be affecting them.
Exactly.
And if he's not trained to identify this, what does he do as a leader?
He should refer the person. And so, like I said, some institutions have counselors and psychologists on the standby. Maybe they can't employ and pay, but have one somewhere and get the staff to be aware of this person. Give them full confidentiality that when you go there, whatever happens there, we don't have any information. It's between you and then that professional. So that this people can walk in, because they know, when those who are struggling, most of them know, but they don't know where exactly to go to. They don't know where to go to. They speak to friends or colleagues, and then it is worse, because in fact, even where I work, my the folders of stuff is protected that nobody else can have access to it. And that's the only way we're able to get staff to even come and see me. But they wouldn't come. They think when they see me, somebody else will know why they've come to see me. And so confidentiality was a bigger problem. And the same thing in most workplaces. I can say on high authority that a lot of people don't even want their medical report to go to their offices. Why? Because it's a confidential document. Because they even know the reports of other people. How did they get to know this? A lot of us are not sensitive. We talk too much. We are discussing people's privacy at the workplace. And so a good leader should make sure that the environment is well protected, so that things that people want to hold as secret and confidential are held as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I see a few questions coming up. Abraham says, thank you for the loads of lesson, Eric. How practical is it to balance this detail of care for teammates while keeping an eye on profit? We are here to do business. As one of my bosses once said, Sam, if I want to worry myself with what is happening in everybody's home and their life, then I will run this office. I will run the business. So how do you balance this care that you need for the individuals, the group, and the hundreds you're leading, and focus on profit? How do you do that?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, like we said, if you are interested in the one bringing you money, he will bring you more money. It's as simple as that. It has been demonstrated and research have proven it. Now we see that, in fact, there are institutions where they even give them entertainment allowance. One on pay. You get it.
Yeah.
So and the truth is that if you study or ask people question, a lot of people will tell you that they will prefer a better medical condition than salary. Because if I earn so little, if I earn so much and I have to spend the money in a hospital, but I want good medical care for my children, and I have to spend all the money healing my children, then what's the essence of being there? I remember when I was young, my father always said it, look for a job that they will take care of your medical expenses. And it is very true. If I look at the amount of money people spend on health, it's so much that if you're not interested in their health and you give them any kind of help, they will also give you any kind of service. So please, a leader should be interested in the people who is bringing them the money, not the
Yeah.
money, because you
So,
need human beings bringing the money.
Aram,
Find a way.
the
If you
person
can
who
do
is
it
bringing the
yourself,
money should be
if you can't do it
more
yourself, just
concerned
as you've
about
been
that.
able to get someone to be collecting your money for you, because you couldn't collect the money yourself. So that's why somebody is collecting it for you. You couldn't go to do the marketing. That's why somebody is doing marketing for you. So find someone, get the person paid to do that job for you. Then when the person comes, the staff or the followers will feel like, okay, you are doing something for them. So they also give you their all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so very much. All right. So Olivia explained she was reacting to this child who has worked hard and was not given the reward. I mean, these things happen sometimes. We encourage employees to work hard. And I've seen situations where, especially now, there's one particular case that I'm aware of. In the past, they were not getting bonuses, and then MD has encouraged them. They put in a new bonus system and they work hard. And this year they have good results. Then the government bring DDE and all their profit is gone, and the employees are now not going to get bonus because the government, and they are discouraged. What will an MD in this situation, what will you advise him to do?
Again, it should go back to them, because he went to them to discuss this with them. Go back to them, because they are human beings. They know what is happening. So if you can't give them maybe the 50% you promise, give them something to take home. Not giving them anything at all will kill their spirit. So let them understand, okay, see, because of what has happened, which is beyond our control, let's all share this. And then, and you see, if you're a leader, you must set example. That's where a lot of us miss out in this part of the world. You are saying that there's no money, but you're able to pay yourself your bonus. Okay, a leader is the one who does what he wants the followers to do. So if you are going to ask me to sacrifice my bonus, already you are enjoying some bonuses and some rights. To sacrifice yours, and then it makes it easier for the other person to also. That's the empathy we are talking about. So you cannot just tell me you care about me whilst you are eating when I'm hungry. You have to share what you have with me. That is proper empathy.
Great. Thank you so much. Eric, how do I handle a staff who is always not in good terms with other colleagues?
So yeah, it happens a lot. It's very common. It's very common. Let's remember that, like I said, let's give that person attention and find out exactly what is causing the problem. We've done it for a lot of institutions. In most cases, it's a personality disorder. There are some people who cannot just allow people to be in their space. It's not their fault. It's not something that they control. It's a condition that makes them to behave that way. So if they are properly assessed or given the attention, they can be supported, and then that condition can be managed.
All right. So I think the point that Eric keeps making is that as a leader, you should be vigilant. You should sense what is going on, give the people attention, listen to them, investigate. And if it is beyond you, find professional help for these people. Is that a good
Exactly,
way to
exactly,
put it? All
exactly.
right. Thank you so much. Olivia says, please, so what do we do in the unfortunate system, working church, communities, environmental locations, with so many persons with an organization, definitely with various temperaments? So what do we do? We have people with various temperaments, different organizations, one leader. What are you going to do?
The leader, of course, has someone who manages all these people, and it's a whole team. That's their job. And so, of course, if a leader is leading as a psychologist, he will make sure that the HR people are doing their job by assessing these people very well. There are times that you know this person cannot be here, but you force and put them there as a form of punishment. Remember that whilst you are punishing this person, you are punishing the whole institution. Because if the person doesn't feel comfortable being there, the human being is smart. If we don't talk, we act. We act a lot. So he will come and then he will just be acting. And the action is more serious than talking. You know that, because actions speak louder than words. So if I tell I don't like where you put me, I've used words. If you gloss over it and then I'm acting, a customer comes, I front my face. A customer comes and then the customer is always right. But I say, no, you cannot be right this time. You can't insult me and go scot-free. I'll also give it to you. That one customer that is hurt is going to actively campaign against this institution, and everybody's going to lose. And so we should grow out from the culture where we punish people. Let's say like query, as if query is some big thing, small thing, query, small thing, query. There are people who need that attention. I can tell you, for some people they need attention. And so anytime you mention their name, you are giving them the attention that they need. As long as you're not sacking them, you are giving them what they want. They want to be heard, just that they are being heard in the wrong way. And so a good manager or leader should be able to identify this person who is gaining unnecessary attention and put him at the right place. Maybe you put him in an office that is alone. Nobody hears about him again. And the customers get satisfied because he's not coming to interfere with them. And then so on. So it's very important that you delegate. A good leader should delegate the functions. You can't do
Good.
everything. Just delegate and then observe from afar.
So, Olivia, you have so many with different temperaments. What we are learning is that understand that these different temperaments are there. They need different responses. If you have so many of them, delegate, and all your people are also leaders. They should understand these different temperaments. Those who need attention, you should note them and put them in the right places, and probably your organization will work better. Thank you so much, Eric, for that. Rose says thank you for your response. Her Lordship Cynthia Martinson is here. She says good evening to us. Kofi says thank you for your response. And Inusa Ajayi is here from Cotonou. All right, Olivia says thank you for your explanations. Right, I am not seeing any question. Let me ask this. You have a leader who is always kind of shouting on people in front of everybody, trying to bring people down, who is, insulting people in front of other team members. What would you say to this leader? And how would the other team members also respond? How do you correct him?
So again, as if you are leading as a psychologist, then you know that when you do that, you are hurting people's feeling. Remember, it's a form of punishment, but that's a negative punishment because it doesn't get you the desired response. So, of course, there are some people they don't want to be screamed at. So if you think this person, you've used every method and it's not working, and you are screaming on that particular person just because you've identified by telling the person that he needs that to change, that's different. But where that becomes your behavior, then of course you are going to get a lot of people running away from you. That is not democratic leadership. That is you. Then you, that leader, you also need assessment. You need support to be able to identify. It's possible. We shouldn't forget that the fact that you're a leader does not absolve you from any mental health issue. You are also a human being. Mental health issues don't happen to. Okay, I wouldn't go there, but they happen to human beings, and so every human being is susceptible to a mental health issue. So that's why I said if you are acting as a leader, it's important that you are aware of your own self. You should know when you get really angry. You should know what will make you speak anyhow to somebody in the organization so that you control. That is emotional intelligence. Anybody who does that is not emotionally intelligent. To look at other people and insult them in the presence of others, that's disgracing, that's disrespectful. So let's be mindful of that. If that is happening, then the chance that you are either emotionally unintelligent, your intelligence level is very low emotionally, or you yourself you have a mental health challenge that has to be looked into. So please, if you are doing that, it is important to see a mental health specialist. You are not mad at all. You just have a mental health challenge. Let me use the opportunity to clarify something. You see, there are 4 categories of mental, I won't say mental issue, but mental health.
Mental needs.
Yes. So there are those of us who have mental well-being. We are mentally healthy, even though we have a mental illness. But because we are taking care of our mental health need, so we are taking our medication or we are going for therapy, we are stable. So we have mental health. Then there are those who don't have any mental health issue, but they are thriving, they are healthy, they are also in good mental health. Then those who are not mentally healthy, they are also in two categories. There are those who have a diagnosed mental illness, but not taking their medicine, so they are not doing well. Then those who are not having any mental illness, but they're not doing well, likewise. Maybe his children are not doing well in school, is not able to raise funds to pay fees or take care of the home. He doesn't have any diagnosis, but he's not healthy mentally. So this person can actually lunge on other people and then insult them or disgrace them or dehumanize them. So that person also needs the support of a counselor.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Then that leads me to the question I wanted to ask. A lot of business leaders have so many things on their head. They have to follow the profit. They have to manage the people. They have to manage their board. They have to manage the press. And sometimes they can get overwhelmed. And one, will that affect the way they handle people? And number two, we live in a society where when you're going to visit a psychologist and a psychiatrist, it means you are mad. And what will you say to leaders who are in this situation? Do they need a psychologist standing by? And what will you say to such leaders?
So for these people, it's important for them to actually go for help. Like I said, it is important. It is important if you can even do mental health assessment twice a year. Because if you are doing for once a year for your physical health, I will ask you to do twice if you are in leadership. Because like you said, you can't be there for everybody, but everybody will expect you to be there for them. If I go to my line manager and it's not working, and the next person that I will come to you. Yeah. Some are coming for school fees, some are even coming for food, top money, some are coming for so many things. So you need to be in a great mental health. So you need to have someone who will be taking care of your mental health. At least there are some basic things. Go for some relaxation, go for some grounding techniques, go for some meditation, go for something to keep you active. And then you can even go and empty your chest. Because there could be so many things. I see a psychologist twice a year myself because I need it. Because sometimes I have to listen to so much. Yeah. And I'm a human being. I have heart also. Sometimes I feel for these people too. So I have to find a way to also dispose of the pain. So the psychologist I see also go to see another psychologist and dispose. Other than that, we all break down. We can't take everything. So as a leader, if you happen to be there for your people and they are dumping all of this on you, find an avenue to dislodge it. You need that as well.
So every leader needs a psychologist. Exactly. And the advice is at least twice a year, go and have a check. Yes. That reminds me that I haven't had any mental psychological checks for such a long time. Maybe I should come and see you one of these days.
Exactly. I'll be expecting you then.
Yes, so I will come. Please, if you want to see Eric, you just let me know and I will direct you to where he is. All right. And Olivia is reacting to that question. She said, well, such a person lacks attention to ascension. So they tend to be bullies. They have a sadistic character and feel seemingly satisfied to be shouting at persons they feel like lording it all over them, who they supervise. Okay, so you have some bosses like that. And sometimes, because that's been explained, they also have some needs that have not been dealt with. All right. So I guess at this point, we want to thank you. We want you to give us your last word.
Mr. Ayim, yes. There are some questions here in the private chat.
Oh, okay.
So someone said,
right.
I think every
yes,
leader...
I think some intruders came into the private chat. I believe that, okay, that's fine. We'll take them. Let me see. Okay, one. Okay. So Ram says, I think every leader also needs a psychological assistant. Okay, that's what has been said. How about that? Okay, so thank you for what you have said. And how do I handle a subordinate who thinks he is always right and will challenge everything you instruct him to do?
Yes,
All
so
right.
I have a program I do that talks about managing difficult people. So there's a group of
Okay.
people we classify as difficult people. Some of these people are the manager with the leader we mentioned that he was screaming at the subordinate. He will fit under difficult people. So difficult people are people who look down upon other people, people who are always challenging every authority, then people who also don't understand anything. Then we also we add people who will come to work late all the time. So these people, we call them difficult people. So in most of the presentation, we help people to get in that, okay, you see, you need to pay attention to every human being because there is always a reason for the human being behaving a particular way. Even if you think there's no reason, there's a reason. Mental health can be a reason. You get it. So there's always
Yes.
a reason. The reason could be that he wants to bully you. The reason could be that he doesn't even know what he's doing. The reason can be that he's overwhelmed with so many things. The reason can be that he's a sadist or a sadist. For them, they derive pleasure from hurting other people. And so, whichever case it is, you should be able to identify this person, what is really making him behave the way he's behaving. That is why I said the beginning, they study the human being. If it is beyond your capacity, refer the person.
Good. Good. Thank you so much. So, what are your parting words, your last words in a minute?
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, leaders, whether you are a leader at home, the leader in a church, the leader at your establishment, it's important for you to understand human being. Basically, when you understand human being, then know that all human beings cannot be the same. Human beings differ on personality, on social setting, in the environment where they were trained, where they schooled, the parents who brought them into existence. All these factors can affect the behavior of people. The behavior of people includes the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act for others to see. And so when we understand this thing, then we'll be able to help them or we're able to manage them better than if we just leave them and then decide that we don't care about them. If you care about people, they are more likely to care about you than if you disregard them. So psychology here helps leadership to do their work by being in close contact with the people they are dealing with. By so doing, they can get a lot to be achieved. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so very much, Eric. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Every time you are here, you share with us important insights. And on that note, we want to thank all of you for making this platform your favorite learning platform. Every Saturday, if you are new, every Saturday at 7 o'clock, we are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, learning. We have different leaders every Saturday at 7, bring different leaders to share different aspects of leadership and personal development. So we invite you and invite your friends. We thank you for choosing to be here. We know you could be in so many places, but you were here. Thank you so much. God bless you. And tomorrow being Sunday, let's find some room to serve God. God bless you. Until we bring you another leader next week, stay blessed. Thank you very much.
Hello, dear leader. Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa. And I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we'll take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.